Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fandom Post Radio Podcast. I am your engineer, Kate, and joining me this week is Brandon.
Hello.
And Kestrel.
Yo.
And Mark.
Hello.
And Kane.
The caboose.
And we are here to talk about the ending winter 2026. Did I get that right this time?
Yeah.
Yay! Anime season. But we have a lot of news. There's been a lot of news out. And yeah. Let's hit that up.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of news. Most of it just kind of continuations of all the shows that just ended, and some shows that didn't just end, stuff coming out next season, stuff coming out the following season, stuff announced to Anime Japan. First, we'll go back a few weeks, talk about, I think this might have dropped the day that the One Piece live action season 2 dropped, which was the announcement that the production companies behind that, Tomorrow Studios, their producers, will be adapting Samurai Champloo into a live action series. They will have Shinichiro Watanabe as an executive producer. And you might be saying, I thought this company already tried to do a live action TV series of one of Watanabe's iconic series and listed him as executive producer. And then he came out and said, actually, they didn't consult me on anything. And I made it through the first minute of it and then turned it off because that was not Cowboy Bebop. Well, they promise it'll be different this time. And they have good press coming off of One Piece this time around. So we'll see.
They learned their lesson?
Question mark.
That should go well.
No, guys, for real this time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically their argument is, we made sure he's, actually involved this time. I know we said that last time, but we were lying. We aren't lying this time.
Please believe us.
Yeah, I can't say I have a ton of confidence. I mean, yeah, One Piece live action has been very successful, but the Cowboy Bebop one was a very sad existence to be a part of. I was just thinking about that the other day, oddly enough, completely unrelated to this announcement. And I think it was mostly just the biggest, not disappointment of the show, but that the show created was, I can't remember his name, but man, the guy they got to play Jet was awesome. I could have just watched that. But, yeah, I don't know why. I was just hanging around. I'm like, man, Cowboy Bebop was bad, wasn't it?
Sure was. Right.
I mean,
yeah. Any other thoughts on that?
I didn't gotta check the news doc, but not really.
It may not be as expensive as Cowboy Bebop, so it could be better. I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe they pay for writers instead of visual effects. They might do better.
It's live action hip hop samurais. What could go wrong?
Everything.
Yeah.
That's what's so weird about it is that, in theory, Cowboy Bebop should work way better in live action than One Piece, but then the same companies made both of them back to back, and Cowboy Bebop was awful and One Piece was great.
Yeah. I think part of it comes down to the tone, maybe.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
The shows the live action kind of cringy thing is a little more acceptable because One Piece is kind of so crazy and silly. But yeah, if it really didn't work with the Cowboy Bebop, so
yeah, and I mean it's the same tone basically.
Yeah,
and yeah, that was the biggest thing is they just didn't get what made Cowboy Bebop cool and funny and have so much style. Whereas with One Piece, they kind of got the tone and they're like, all right, we can embrace the camp. This is how we can make it work in live action. It's going to be silly, but that's the point. People expect that. Whereas with Cowboy Bebop, it was a lot of this is a Netflix show. Here's a clever quip.
yeah. I was going to say, we're going to see lots of Marvel-esque quips of the samurais bickering for sure.
Right. Yeah.
We'll see. Guess we'll hold our breath on this one.
Yeah.
Jin, played by Timothy Chalamet.
I mean, at least I think they're pretty good about race appropriate casting at this point.
Oh boy.
I do know that the guy who used to be the showrunner for the live action One Piece just got selected to make to make an animated version of Monstrous for Amazon. So that's exciting, but also kind of like, I guess you're not working on live action One Piece ever again at this rate. So,
well, I mean, he was already stopping the or which showrunner?
Hold on. None of these shows want me to actually look at the article that talks about this.
Because originally it was Steven Maeda and Matt Owens, and then Steven Maeda was no longer one of the showrunners as of season 2.
Yeah, it's Steve Maeda. It's him.
Okay. Yeah. And I think Matt Owens is maybe also not going to be one of the showrunners on season 3. So, yeah, they're flipping it over. We'll see. I mean, yeah, we can talk about this in another episode, but the second season was very good, so I'm not too worried about the future of the show. Other news. So this could be its whole episode. There's this company called Crunchyroll. You might have heard of them. They have very little to do. They have very little to do with the company called Crunchyroll that existed 20 years ago. But this business entity, it's hard to say, like, okay, they took over Funimation. No, they didn't. Funimation took over Crunchyroll, but really it was Sony took over Funimation, and then a few years later took over Crunchyroll, decided Crunchyroll was the stronger brand, rolled them up together, and have been kind of using that as an excuse since then to be like, well, Crunchyroll is a streaming platform. Let's kind of stop doing all this home video stuff, even though effectively it is still the business entity that has been Funimation since 1994 or whatever. But that's been kind of the pattern that they've been following, which is unfortunate because, one, Crunchyroll, between Crunchyroll and Funimation, they basically had all of the, rights to any big show that came out for many, many years. And they were mostly competing on simulcast rights because that was Crunchyroll's business. But for the most part, Japanese production committees would say, well, you're getting home video rights with them too. And Crunchyroll was like, sure, and mostly sat on them. And then they had a partnership with Funimation where they released their stuff. And then they had a few partnerships with a few other companies, Discotech, Viz, etc. And had their stuff released by different companies. And then, of course, they became the same company as Funimation, and then it just became kind of the Funimation output that we expected. But as the years have gone on, since that rebranding 4 years ago, they've been getting essentially everything, because that was the main point, was to kill the competition. Sony could have both of the biggest players in the market, so that they could basically get everything. And of course, they already have Aniplex, they already have A1 Pictures, they already have Cloverworks, they already have Sony Music Japan, so they already have such a huge footprint in everything that goes on in the anime industry worldwide. So they could basically corner the market, and that's what they've been doing in the 4 years that they've had this singular Crunchyroll business, even if it is technically Funimation and has technically followed Funimation's practices in terms of releases and dubs and stuff. So then in addition to that, also 2022, they announced that they would be acquiring Right Stuff, which everyone of the past few generations who bought anything related to anime knows as, the great specialist anime manga retailer for decades, which was somehow always great. And Crunchyroll, of course, bought them, and as expected, they killed the service and took over all their inventory, their warehouse, put it in their own existing Crunchyroll store. And, it's never been the same as it was as Right Stuff, of course. But at least we've generally had the same kind of stuff available in that new store. Not any of the sort of sales, not any of the sort of customer service. Thankfully, we still had the packaging. Yeah, not restocking the old stuff, none of the adult stuff, none of the new niche partnerships that Right Stuff would have started. And, some of the gay stuff that's not actually adult stuff, but they decide is adult stuff because it's gay. So anyway, that's also been happening for the past few years. And in that time, we've been, getting fewer and fewer releases each month from the home video department, even though they own essentially every show every season. To the point that, you can have 50 shows that Crunchyroll gets a season and 2 or 3 that Sentai High Dive gets, and those 2 or 3 Sentai is going to put out a Blu-ray for, and some months you'll have more Sentai releases than Crunchyroll releases, which is absurd. So the vast majority of everything that has come out in the past few years has gone to Crunchyroll and has not gotten a home video release because only the absolute top sellers will get them. Any old stuff that Funimation has had for many years, they generally have not reprinted unless it's the absolute best sellers. For example, my friend was trying to buy Steins Gate a few months ago and realized that it's impossible because it has not been in print for 5 years. So you have to pay $250 on eBay because they want everyone to stream everything and pay them a subscription every month, just like, the other worst case scenario of what could have happened to Warner Brothers, other than the worst case scenario we already got, which was Netflix would get them, kill their home video market, kill their theatrical market, because everyone wants their streaming to be everything. So anyway, in addition to that happening and us getting to the point where we're averaging maybe 1 or 2 releases a month on home video, people have started to notice some things happening on the retail side, such as many products being delisted, especially books, anime releases that were, not sold out yet. Discotheque releases, for example, they just stopped stocking most of them, and Discotheque were like, we still have inventory, so Justin's Media OCD store has started stocking a lot more Discotheque inventory because they have it. Crunchyroll just doesn't want them anymore. Having back orders forever, not restocking stuff that they should be restocking, having even their own products, like my friend was looking at his Konosuba order for season 3 of the Blu-ray this month in March, and was like, how is this out of stock? I thought this was fairly recent release, and it was a Crunchyroll release, and it literally came out in December. So within a 3-month span, they're not even keeping their own stuff stocked. And a lot of these things you can only get on the Crunchyroll store. So now a lot of them are just kind of gone forever, or Amazon, I guess. So there's been more and more of that going on. Manga, especially manga and light novels, you can get almost nothing anymore. They've been having more here's a big sale across all in-stock products of this category right after they delist 75% of that category from their store entirely. And, the remaining stuff is basically clearance sale of let's get rid of all this. At the same time, a listing went up for the sale of the Grimes, Iowa warehouse that was historically the Right Stuff warehouse that Crunchyroll has continued to operate out of. And through this, we learned that they never actually purchased it. They've been leasing it for all these years and are letting it go on the market now for someone else to buy. At the same time, they had a mass round of layoffs in different departments than the even more mass round of layoffs that happened just a few months prior, about 6 months prior, I think, in August. This time, the departments most affected were HR, product, and e-commerce. Specifically, basically everyone who was still there carried over from working at Right Stuff, which of course coincides with them getting rid of the warehouse, them getting rid of all the product that they had carried over from Right Stuff, now also getting rid of all the staff that they had carried over from Right Stuff. So essentially...
Thanks for cashing out, my dude.
Yeah. Sony has consumed all of the biggest players in home video and commerce specialty retail in the North American anime space, replaced them with their own inferior service, and then deprecated that inferior service so that there is now nothing to serve the customers that have been served by these specialties for decades.
And you can expect a price increase probably in the next year.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And also the cherry on top is, I don't know if they've even confirmed it internally to everyone, but everyone's saying there's like been a big data breach that there's going to be
That's
another
true,
class
yep.
action lawsuit for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. They have acknowledged that because they've said they're looking into it. Yep.
We've investigated ourselves and found nothing wrong.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all that to say, it might be the dawn of a new pirate era.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go on quite literally
Maybe.
any subreddit or forum, and people are just like, you see that meme comic of dusting off the pirate hat or whatever,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
or a bunch of other stuff, because it's just like,
Do I hear We Are playing in the background?
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where it's just like, how long can you coast with Crunchyroll at least by being like, well, I want to support the industry. It's like, but
I just want
I
to
don't
see Sean Kleckner on the execution platform being like, I left all of my inventory in one place. Now you just have to find it.
Oh, God. Somebody draw that. It's so easy.
Oh, no.
He used to have that little comic, the little drawing of himself.
Right, the Dark
wearing
Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, throw some swords around his neck on that, Bran.
Yep. That's our thing. Yep, it's the image right there.
D. Kleckner.
If you can find that image for me, I could definitely make it happen.
We'll get you the materials.
Wayback Machine will help out on that.
Yeah, for sure.
If not, I'll take a picture of I don't know.
I swear we just did like a Gold D. Rogers type thumbnail though,
Maybe.
a few episodes ago or something. There was something we did recently with it.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
But that's good.
I'm just going to throw out another potential name here: Encrunchification.
oh,
Yeah.
nice. That's a good
Yeah.
one. That's a good one. Yeah, it seems like they're just stepping in it in every possible opportunity. Because if it's not that stuff, it's like the AI thing they got in trouble for because the subtitles were so bad they couldn't even hide that it was AI. Unlike
Subtitle formatting that they tried to cheap out and do the Netflix route on, and they've been starting to veer more back into simplistic subtitle formatting when that has been like the one thing that has been unquestionably superior about their service than everyone else's is their subtitle formatting. And then they kind of tried to go back on that and were like, no, that was a glitch. It wasn't an intentional choice or anything.
Always a glitch every time.
Yeah.
Our account got hacked.
Yeah. Our account got hacked, and the hackers decided to subtitle all our shows, which was nice, but they decided to use this shittier system.
Yeah, it's been interesting over the past like year or so watching kind of all this happen, if only because like it's such an incredible microcosm of like the entire capitalist economy like that we live in, like the race to the bottom, but it's just happening with one company that happens to be controlling like all of anime streaming and stuff like that for the most part.
It's almost like having no competition is bad for the consumer.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Right.
Almost like monopolies shouldn't exist.
I feel like I've heard this before. I'm sure it'll work out this time, though. Yeah,
I'm glad I haven't tried to
and the
buy
thing
too
was
much
like
physical.
What's that?
I said I'm glad I haven't been trying to buy too many physical things, so I didn't have to see those prices. I was at our local anime convention a weekend ago or so in Lancaster here, and there was one person selling Blu-rays, maybe two, and they were all like as expensive as I remember. So like in a way, con physical pricing has not changed. So
Yeah.
there is a chance that you could, for once in your life now, get a good deal at something at a convention because of the
For
stock
real.
they will still have around. But
Yeah, and like I was talking to my friend about this, and he was like, "Well, is it like confirmed that they're like done?" And I was like, "No, I mean they still exist, but I would expect them more to be a convention booth than a warehouse. So yeah, your solo levelings, your demon slayers are gonna be available, but anything niche, you're not gonna be able to find anymore."
Or at least not until 15 years later, where it gets sub-licensed back out to somebody else.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and you know, this has definitely been a major issue for me because I collect physical media all the time.
Yeah.
And in general, you know, since they took over Right Stuff and then killed Right Stuff and put it all into the Crunchyroll store, they've had less and less of their standard like Right Stuff studio sales, which was kind of what I used to buy everything. I was like, okay, well, I'll just wait for the Viz sale and then buy all the Viz stuff I need, etc. So I just have not been buying nearly as much, especially manga, as a result, and less anime because they've just been putting out less anime and they own it all. But now it's like, okay, it's not just that the manga isn't on sale anymore, the manga just doesn't exist. And Right Stuff was always the source for that. So yeah, we need to definitely find new options for physical media, and hopefully some new people can kind of fill in the gap because the market's definitely there, as much as Sony does not want it to exist, apparently. And the fact, again, like, if Crunchyroll had a monopoly on anime streaming, sure, but the fact that they felt the need to then also get a monopoly on anime physical media and retail, both categories that they had no interest in pursuing, and then kill those markets, is what really hurts here. Because, like, yeah, if you want to stick to streaming, sure, I don't care. But if you have to actively take away these options that are being served by people who are actually passionate about them and have been doing it well for decades, just to say, oh, well, I guess you have no choice but to stream these shows now, that sucks.
Well, that was like a few years ago. There was it just industry wide. There was like the whole thing where it seemed like people by and large were starting to reject streaming, and there were the discussions about all the studios being like, well, are they going to start investing in physical media again? This is what people want. It's no, what if we just destroyed physical media and gave people no choice? How about that? Then they'll stream. So
Exactly.
Yep.
or DHS people.
you'll enjoy your 480p Jujutsu Kaisen.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On your 8K TV.
Yeah, exactly. With motion interpolation terminal.
Mm.
Don't say
you'll
that.
get all 60 frames of those 480 pixels, and you'll like it.
Yeah. And what the alternative, like you had mentioned earlier, Kestrel, of Amazon is always so fucking hit and miss too when you're buying like physical anything from them when it comes to disc or media. Like I've had stuff, I mean, I really don't buy from them at all anymore, let alone physical media of any type. But man, I've had some rough situations where it's just like a Blu-ray in a thin padded envelope, and you pick it up and you already hear the disc just rattling around up in there.
Or a Blu-ray in a giant cardboard box with nothing in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to mention that too, because like I said, at least through all of this, they've maintained the Iowa warehouse, they've maintained most of its stock, they've maintained most of the old, maybe not most of, but some of the old staff. They've maintained the packaging, which was an initial fear, which has been really great that they have kept all of those things up. But yeah, if we don't have that as an option anymore, then we really don't have anyone that we can trust will package the stuff well enough for the crazy collectors that we are to find acceptable. So yeah, that is a major problem as well. Even if someone else takes it up, they need to have that standard of care.
Yeah, because it's not like these things are like $4.99, Black Friday deals, unless you're buying the High School of the Dead OVA. They're super expensive, and then I don't know if there are many worse sounds in like retail than getting that package. Just hearing that like truck in the package.
No. Oh, here's a short, quick, funny story for you guys. So I've been going through the bookening here, which is the reckoning, but for books. And I had to move everything out of my room and off the shelves, and I've been slowly cataloging everything, and I am up to 1,700 something books cataloged so far, and I still probably have about 1,000 more to go. But I was moving a box of discs. Something must have been. I didn't think anything was sitting on top of this box, but my Gundam Wing Endless Waltz DVD case just fucking exploded. Like into a million pieces, like shards of plastic, and the plastic smelled like dill, and I don't know why.
Yikes!
And it was the weirdest thing because I was like picking it up and it was like falling to pieces in my hand. So I don't know what Bandai was making that shit out, getting their plastic cases from back in the day, but just in case anybody's got some of those Bandai cases still kicking around, if they spontaneously combust and smell like dill, please let me know, because I want to know if this is a one-off thing. So, yeah. That's it. That's my short story.
Interesting.
I was very confused. My cat was very confused.
It made me think about the Right Stuff commercial that they were doing in like the 2020 COVID online con era. Where they were advertising their packaging by having the G Gundam box set that they released in, one of their boxes and dropping it off like, 10-foot ladder or something and taking it out and making sure that the shot glass was still intact. So yeah, that was the Right Stuff that cared about us.
Damn.
So this is an interesting thought. Is Barnes & Noble our only left hero? Are they the ones that will save us all?
Yeah, so I mean, what do we got? Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. There was some specialty manga site that someone pointed me to that I've already forgotten what it's called. I haven't bought anything from them yet. I'll try to dig it up. Mary Manga. Ever heard of that?
Nope.
No. But apparently they have decent selection and, regular kind of sales like Right Stuff used to have. But yeah, I'm weighing my options. I'm thinking about getting like a Barnes & Noble membership and going there primarily.
Everything is depressing. Nothing is good.
Rough times.
Yeah.
I mean, at least glass half full. The new Barnes & Noble that opened up near me, because they've been having a bit of a resurgence for reasons like this, just for like other books and media and stuff like that. They have pretty good manga sections, to be perfectly honest. Like, there's a whole huge, enormous section in the back. So it's not like you're going to Barnes & Noble and just seeing like one shelf with 3 random issues of Attack on Titan on it or something.
Right.
Yeah, they've come a long way since the Borders days, where they always had a much smaller section than Borders did. Yeah, they went all in at one point. It was the day that I realized they went all in was when I walked in one day and it was all Gundam kits, and I'm like, oh dear God, what happened in here?
Yeah.
There was, so Justin Media OCD Anime Go has been putting out these the anime business videos of interviews he's done with various people from the anime industry over the past few decades, interviews he's done with them over the past few years. And a few of them he's talked to, like, the people in manga publishing, some of the guys who were with Borders back in the day and Barnes & Noble and stuff. And one of the recent ones, the person mentioned that manga is the single biggest section in Barnes & Noble across the country now, and that they like doubled their manga selection in 2020, 2021, and then again in like 2023, 2024. So yeah, it like the market's clearly there. People are buying manga way more than they ever have. but Crunchyroll was like, well, we never really wanted to be in the major e-commerce business for, little books. We want to sell the figures that cost $1,000 or the Blu-rays that'll ship 1 million units. So yeah, and streaming, mostly streaming.
Yeah.
Well, and Barnes and Noble's even into like some of the more popular manga gets like special Barnes and Noble variant covers and things like that as well. Like they're
Oh, Kuni, I should mention another option out there. They have, they have Japanese books too, but they also have lots of English manga releases. They have their own membership program. They have their own exclusive variants and special editions and extra goodies and stuff. So definitely another option to think of. Yeah.
Yep. And always remember, support your local bookseller.
Mm-hmm.
If at all possible.
If such a thing still exists.
Yeah.
Like, I have a Newbury Comics near me that they sell manga. They actually have a larger section than they have had in years. For the reasons that, yes, manga sells.
Yeah, I think
It's
most
all vinyl in there and manga and Labubus now.
I think most traditional comic book stores, like as stubborn as they were about manga's popularity for very long, because there was many I knew that they'd give them maybe part of a shelf. Now it's like you can't deny how much manga are selling. You have to stock them like almost as much as the comics are.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, one thing I could say about Newbury Comics is they always were very good at chasing whatever trend is selling. Like, nobody's buying that music anymore. Oh, okay, we're gonna mostly get rid of music. Oh, everybody's buying these Funko Pops. Oh, the Funko Pop section is shrinking and we're replacing it with Labubus. Oh, okay, we're gonna sell all these socks. People like socks. Everything is vinyl again. What is happening?
Yep.
My categories.
Kestrel, what else you got? Do you have any more sad stories for story time?
No, I think the rest of them are, well, I'll let some other people be the judge. But nothing quite as tragic as all physical media and retail is being destroyed by the monopoly who controls it all. Next piece of news. We kind of knew this a little bit before, but Chainsaw Man is over now, apparently. I guess I will leave it to Bran to confirm, is Chainsaw Man over, or is Chainsaw Man Part 2 over?
I'm pretty sure it's over. I mean, there very well could be a Part 3, and if there is, I think Fujimoto's probably keeping it close to the chest and being like, I need some time if I even want to think about doing that. But for the most part, I do think it's over, despite how maybe abrupt people felt like the ending was coming. But then again, I think most people just like can't cope with things ending. So which has been very clear from the response I've seen online mostly, and the memes of one of the panels. But yeah, I think it's over.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I have not read most of Part 2. I have no idea how it ends or anything. But no matter how perfect and conclusive an ending is, people will just bitch incessantly about it ending. And like the number of clickbait bullshit that you can find over the past 13 years of like, why was Breaking Bad canceled? Like, when it has a completely 100% resolved story arc. Like, yeah, people just think that everything needs to be milked for all eternity.
Yeah,
things should end on their own terms.
Yeah.
No, it's got to have at least 6 spin-offs of all the minor characters.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth like having a discussion about at some point, but it's like that whole mindset is the reason a lot of these long-running stories have such, quote unquote bad endings. It's because like they don't really get to end the way they want or when they want. It's more like they're either sick of their own story or they're literally dying. So
Yeah.
they need to stop.
Or they've been forced to drag it out for years past where they wanted to because it was popular, and then it stopped being popular, so now you have to wrap it up in the next month.
Yeah.
Or they
So-
drag it out forever and then they die
Yeah.
while
Yes.
it's unfinished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
More cheeriness.
I mean,
Anything happy on the
I
news,
don't
Doc?
Brandon, was it good in your opinion? You happy with the ending?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
I will
Sure.
say I've been sitting with it. It's definitely feels like more could have happened. There have been interviews where Fujimoto's like, "You ever seen Big Lebowski? You know how that just kind of ends and everyone's like, "What? That's it?" He's like, "Yeah, I kind of want to do that." So, in a sense, he did that. So,
Okay.
I think it can be a satisfying ending if you can, deal with the fact that like there's not going to be answers to every question or every character's, plot threads or whatever. I think it's going to kind of land similarly for people with the same way that like Attack on Titan ended, where
Mm.
it really comes down to people's perception of the main character and like what they think
Mm.
he deserved for an
Okay.
ending. And I think that is like a big deciding factor of like how people will take it.
The anime will fix it. Got it.
Yeah, that's a good. There's a good chance of that. Yeah, but no, I think it's fine. It is not the worst ending I've ever seen.
Okay. If the last panel is not just Tony Soprano looking up, then I'm going to be very upset.
Well,
I would not
guess
put it
we'll have
past
to wait
the
and see.
artist for
Right.
that to do that.
Yeah. Okay, I promise the next one's just good news, unequivocally good news. So like I mentioned, a lot of stuff ended, a lot of stuff had next seasons announced, a lot of stuff had continuations announced in Anime Japan. I'm not going to go through all of them because I don't care about all of them as much, but I do care about Frieren. So unlike last time where Frieren ended with a vague promise that there would be more eventually, and then got an announcement that there would be more 6 months later, and then a few months after that, confirmed that it was a second season, and then a few months after that, confirmed when it would be airing. This time, as soon as the final episode of Season 2 ended, they're like, all right, you're getting Season 3, it's October 2027, it's going to adapt the Golden Land arc, here's the key visual. And we can talk about it a little bit, but the finale of this season directly sets up for that. So, yeah, they're very much on the let's get the seasonal train going, rather than just, we'll see when we pick this back up.
Hooray!
Yeah, I've heard that it's good. I've heard that it is the best part of the story in terms of giving the demons like a sympathetic type of like view up until now, and then maybe challenging you as to like Frieren and Fern's particular kill at all costs mentality towards them. So I'm looking forward to that, to see how true that part is.
Yeah.
You've read it, right, Kestrel?
No, so I have all the volumes of it, but I have only read up to where the first season covers, and now that the second season is over, I will read up to where the second season covers.
Nice.
But I'm keeping myself fresh with the anime for all of it.
Nice.
But yeah,
Have you, Bran?
Yeah, I assume you have.
No, I do not read Frieren.
Okay. All right, so we're all going in fresh. I'll say, and we can talk about this more when we talk about the season, but in addition to what Kane just mentioned being very intriguing, because many of my most interesting commentary on the series are with how they deal with demons and what they represent. But in addition to that, I think what they're setting up with Denkin in the next season is getting me very excited as well, especially given how much more I already care about him than Genau. and how much they were able to do with his character, despite the character himself trying to be emotionless and flat for his entire characterization, and despite that arc being only 3 episodes. So very excited to see what happens with Denken, given how the second season wraps up.
I hope he has to fight the bad guy demon, but just like fisticuffs, like in the test thing. Like
Right.
they just box in the mud.
And then the other thing that I pulled out of, I guess this was from Anime Japan, of among the many announcements, something that I cared about, even though it was the least announcement of any announcement. Steel Ball Run, which we'll be talking about some more today. They put out a trailer for the second stage, second episode of this series, with the announcement that, drumroll please, it'll happen sometime this year. So they have 9 months to put out another episode.
Everyone said, "Don't do batches like you did with part 6," and then the monkey paw
Say-
curled.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh Lord!
They're like, say less, and then
Ugh.
yeah, the internet has been awash. I mean, when is the internet not awash in anger in general? But
True.
at least in regards to the second episode of SBR, I think it's just been because it's like it is one episode, and now we can't even get like even a month or anything. It's
A
like
quarter?
it could release. Yeah, it could release on December 31st, baby.
Yep.
And Netflix and company will still be like, nailed it, got it. May 26th.
Yeah.
I do wonder, like, I wonder why it's taking so long. Like, it looks really good and everything, but there's also just has to be more to it, I suppose. Or my brain wants there to be more to it, because it's like we get lots of really good-looking anime that can do 13 episodes in a year, and we might get 2 of this one.
Yeah.
And what else
I
is
guess-
David Productions doing?
Well, they just wrapped up Fire Force. Do they have other big projects coming up?
I feel like they
feel
were
like
working
they
on
did,
one other
right?
thing, but
Yeah.
yeah.
David Production.
It is though, but just baffling because this is literally like I've never seen something like this happen.
Yeah. I was talking to my
Putting
friend
up
today.
with
And
police.
it ever happened? And I was like, I can't really think of another case quite like this.
No.
Yeah, and that was actually something I meant to mention with the Freerun story as well. Is like that feels right. Like a year and a half until the next season. They seem to kind of have the cadence figured out of how to keep up this quality on a regularly maintained basis, which great. But I don't know. Like I've been champing at the bit for Steel Ball Run anime for years since Stone Ocean ended, and it's been a wait. But I don't know. Couldn't you have waited a little bit longer and not just given us one episode every few seasons?
Yeah, I really don't understand the strategy. It almost feels like they didn't know what they were doing. Like, what? Did David Pro lie to them? Like, what happened? Like, are they like, all right, guys, let's release it all? And it's like, what do you mean all?
Is it like a normal length, like just 30-minute or 24-minute or whatever?
The first one was 47 minutes.
Okay.
And so they're actually capturing each like stage of the race in one episode, so however long it needs to be, basically.
Gotcha. Because it kind of sounds like you go far enough back. It kind of sounds like the release schedule for the original Bubblegum Crisis back in the 80s, where they were releasing episodes like once every 6 months or so.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like old OVA release cycle.
Yeah. Hopefully for everybody's sake, it doesn't go the way of the original Bubblegum Crisis, which just kind of ended with everybody in a big pissing match and never finishing it. But
oh my god, if they don't finish Steel Ball Run, I could not imagine what would
They
happen.
definitely will. It's just very bizarre what's happening right now. But yeah, it is very OVA style what they're doing. Just the expectation of regular releases and the general lack of communication around it, I think, is what makes it so bizarre. I'm sorry. Because it's such a huge property that they've been hyping up for so long. And then they're like, "Love that episode, didn't you?"
Yeah.
Okay.
It easily had to be on their radar that it was going to be like the biggest anime release of the year for them.
Yeah.
It's really just baffling. There's really no other way to say it.
Well, think of it this way, though. Just think of how excited you'll be when that episode finally gets here.
Mm-hmm. And how painful the next wait will be.
Yeah.
And with some of the if they're doing like episode equals stage, like some of the stages are really long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a proposed if they did it by stage batches, it would be like stage 2, 10 episodes, stage 3, 11 episodes. Like a lot of people online, just doing what they can to find an answer for how they could be doing
it. They explicitly called the first stage, and it was one single episode, and it covered the entire first stage, and now they're explicitly advertising the next release as the second stage. So maybe the first stage is an anomaly that's 47 episodes, and then second stage will be a batch drop of a bunch of 23, 24-minute episodes. But
what do you even call that anymore, though? It's not even TV. It's not a movie.
Well, it's already an ONA, which already doesn't have any, doesn't necessarily have a release pattern tied to it. It's just gets released to streaming whenever they feel like.
Oh man.
Yeah. But it's they I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. We said, it looks very good right now, and there's a lot of things that could go wrong. There's a lot of things that are very difficult to make work well. It just does seem strange that they wouldn't have a more coherent plan to communicate at this point in the process.
Yep. And just to further reiterate my posting of hieroglyphics before the episode, a lot of people's response so far has been anytime the Netflix social channels post this week on Netflix anime, look forward to these episodes. Basically every reply has nothing to do with the anime they are trying to hype up, and it's all just pictures of a demonic looking Johnny being where's the second episode, or a horse puking, just it's going crazy. People are going into pandemonium mode.
JoJo fans are the most insane anime fans, so they should not be surprised at all.
No.
They're absolutely unhinged.
This is what happens when they don't get to point their memes toward the show.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the most beloved part too is when this happens to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's rough out here.
Should we segue that into actually talking about the first episode?
Yeah, if we're wrapped on news, I guess so.
Yep.
Yeah, we can definitely start, because it's fucking good.
All that shit aside.
Yeah, exactly.
It was incredibly enjoyable and really knocked it out of the park for basically the only thing I was concerned about, which is how bad are these horses going to look?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they really minimize the amount of you don't really get a lot of time to pay attention to the horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. They edited it really well so you wouldn't be looking at the horses for too long. And I think they also made a really good choice in when to utilize the CGI horses versus just hand-drawn stuff. So it wasn't just CGI the whole time. So big establishing wide shot CGI horses. But then especially near the end of the episode when they're getting towards the finish line, all the horses are hand-drawn and stuff. So it looks so good, and they really took their time, which I think is basically the best way to handle that, so that you can get the detail on such a intricate and weird animal to draw where it matters, and then just no one's paying attention to what these horses look like when you're seeing them from a helicopter's distance away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it from beginning to end. I also really liked the laugh they gave Gyro.
Oh yeah. Yoo-hoo!
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
Yoo-hoo!
He's just the coolest motherfucker.
Yeah. He will easily continue to be the best fucking character.
Yeah. Well, it's I'm glad they went with a laugh like that, because in the manga, because I'm still reading through it, for the most part, it's just like a heh the whole time, like H-E-H, H-E-H, and you're like, I don't really know how I'm supposed to read that necessarily. And then for the anime here, they just decided it's gonna be like a weird, like little mirthful, like schoolboy's laugh. Like he's up to something.
Yeah.
Well,
It's also very self-satisfied in like the best ways. Like it's always just like when he keeps his teddy bear over the scissors, he's like, hoo-hoo.
I think
It's good.
I think Neo Ho Ho has always been his thing. It's just Viz didn't necessarily carry that over.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to the names of stands, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess Viz has already started with it, right? They're well ahead of where the anime has covered, so
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're at least 5 or 6 volumes in of part 7, I think.
yeah. I think 6 released and like 3 more already on the docket.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
hell, they might be releasing part 8 by the time part 7's fully animated.
It's possible, yeah. Which at least we have that, because like previously the anime David Productions anime adaptation was usually well ahead of Viz's manga release. So the fact that they're getting this one out there at this rate is very nice to see.
For sure.
Yeah, one of the things that I liked how they handled in the opening episode as well is everyone wanting to grab the steel balls at first when they're spitting them, and we've already started with the Johnny just screams whatever he's thinking at any point in time.
I'm gonna grab those steel balls.
Yeah, he's just yelling. He's openly narrating all of his actions, like as he does them, and his thoughts, to the point where one of the funniest bits in the manga I've gotten to so far is I didn't realize that's what was happening, to be honest, in the manga, because sometimes like the little like word bubbles aren't there, so it's just words on the page. And then Gyro just yells at me. He's like, "Do you have to scream everything you're thinking about?" I was like, "Oh my god!"
There's a lot of shonen characters who need to be asked that question.
Yeah. Another reason why Gyro's so cool is he's just like, you need to shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Yeah, he reaches for it, and then how daintily how Gyro takes Johnny like and completely like turns his arm a zillion times, and then just hangs him up like a Christmas ornament.
That was so good.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm also wondering, because I haven't. This is my like watching intently the first time I've watched a JoJo's intently, let alone read it. This is the only one that I've read, but this one gets crazy violent, like a lot, in ways that I'm not sure if the other ones did. Like people are just getting their shit just blown smooth off constantly.
Yeah, I feel like the one that gets closest to this one in terms of that is like part 5. With I think it's similarly, you know, like the whole mafia thing and the whole cowboy thing. It's kind of lends itself to being a little more gritty. And I mean, luckily, it's also the same director of part 5, I believe.
Yep. Same 2 directors, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it does kind of lend itself more towards that, which is neat.
I think it probably helps that early in its run, Steel Ball Run was moved from Weekly Shonen Jump to its seinen equivalent, which helped a few things. It helped help art be so fucking incredible all the time, because it became monthly from that point on, because it was a monthly magazine. But also, it's in a seinen magazine now, so they can get away with a lot more.
Yeah, that makes sense then, for sure. Like reading it, I was like, this is incredibly violent for what I thought at the time was a shonen, because it's in the Shonen Jump app. I don't know if SBR is, but like every other thing that's JoJo's. I figured this is also shonen, and of course there were some violent shonens out there. Like I'm not that ignorant, but this one is just like can get pretty brutal with some of the shit that happens to people later on.
I mean, I feel like it's one of those. Again, he wanted it to be monthly so that he could have time to perfect the art, which is great. But I feel like it's also maybe one of those long overdue corrective measures, like when Chainsaw Man came back after part 1, they were like, yeah, you don't get to be in regular Weekly Shonen Jump anymore.
Yeah.
You're a little too over the top for that. And I just want to mention, since now that this is out, I mean, okay, it's harder to recommend to people now because we have no idea when episode 2 is coming. But since I'm now at least able to say, hey, check this shit out, and really want to enforce the idea that despite the fact that the first text you see on screen is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7, you don't need to worry about any other JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. To really drive that point forward, when it was first released in Japan, it was just called Steel Ball Run. It wasn't until it was moved to the other magazine that they put JoJo's branding on it at all. It was just called Steel Ball Run.
Yeah. That's really interesting. It also, like, I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I feel like they really don't even talk about stands or anything at all in the first episode. In the first stage. So like it almost does feel completely removed if you have no idea what JoJo's is.
Yeah, I mean, if you know what a stand is in relation to JoJo, then you can probably know what a Joestar and a Dio is in relation to JoJo as well. But yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely like, you know, it kind of brings back Hamon, just way cooler.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you kind of get into your stands before too long. But yeah, when it starts out, it's clearly like, yes, this is tangentially related, but not necessarily directly so.
Yeah. And just writing off more of the high of it, the music's always pretty good in JoJo's, but fucking hell, this soundtrack is so amazing.
So good. Steel Ball Run theme.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Like literally the like climactic part of the race when the color switch and the horse animation is hitting and the music is hitting, like this reached a level where I was like, okay, this can live up to like everything we could dream it could be. Oh, so good.
That's 47 minutes of your life.
Yeah. Too soon.
Oh, also, I wanted to mention, I don't remember why, but for some reason I looked at the clock when the race started, and then they gave like a time count of like it's been 17 minutes, and it's actually perfectly real time. Those 17 minutes took place in exactly 17 minutes in the episode.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in terms of, you know, it's been a second since I've read it, but in terms of what they kind of had to cut down on to fit the first stage in that one episode, I think they boiled it down to the essentials. There's definitely some parts that make sense to get cut because I think they might even work better if they be brought back later. Like, I think the whole introduction with Sandman and like his background, I think will maybe be more relevant, you know, when he has like more of a role in his arc. But yeah, no, I think the pacing and everything was great as well.
And like, yeah, it just felt as immersive and propulsive as you want a fucking continent-wide race to feel. Like you are so in it, you're so invested. It's just such an all-consuming feeling, like you are on the trail with these guys.
Yeah.
I think it's why they probably didn't do, partially why they didn't do the Sandman stuff either, is that they want to reel you in the first episode. It just give you action on action on action for the most part. Like,
definitely.
keep exposition to a minimum for like the truly main characters, and even then, like you don't know anything about Gyro at this point. So you can get invested emotionally with like the race and all of the action and stuff like that. I came across some interesting, I guess, trepidation from people online where they're like, wait until like the steel ball, like the JoJo's casuals see there's no stands or fighting and it's all horse racing in this first episode. I was like, but that's what makes this part in the manga really good too, is that that is just as much action and is a great setting and stage for the action. So it isn't just a bunch of dudes standing around all the time. Like now you're gonna get stands while they're also like riding horses and doing flips and racing on dead cow skeletons. Like
yeah. I think I think it's crazy because there are some people that will just never be satisfied, because most of people's major complaint with a part like Stardust Crusaders is that all they do is like fight, and it's just like villain of the week. And it's like, yeah, we got to get to Dio in 30 more episodes, but like until then, let's just fucking who could be the stand user in this part of Cairo? Whereas this one, there is a stated goal, know where they're headed, and it's just like what's going to happen along the way. I think, that's what makes one of the reasons that Steel Ball Run's so compelling and kinetic in that way.
Absolutely.
I also like that who the stand users will be, even as you like read through the manga and watch this, but you just don't know like what their stand is or how they're going to use it or anything. So while there's no surprise, you're like, oh, so and so character has a stand, and so it's just more like how fucking nuts is it gonna be for them in particular, and then does it fit their character at all? Because there are some stands that make sense for the type of character they are a little bit, like it blends with them, and then there's just people that just got, I don't know, their power was pulled out of a hat and that was it. But yeah, it was very, very good. I liked it a lot. So while I am disappointed that this whole like timing thing is good, it isn't like this first episode was lukewarm anyway. So
yeah, and I think I mentioned it in our Discord chat, but just like the fact that I got to watch 47 minutes of Steel Ball Run anime and then less than 24 hours a new episode of Free Run anime was just like, this is perfection. This is all I've ever wanted in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can thank Crunchyroll for that.
We're not thanking them for shit anymore.
Nope.
And even half of it was not them, so at all. Like, I'm trying to think, surely Sony has some connection to Steel Ball Run, but it's one of the few cases where I can't make the direct connection off the top of my head.
Just wait, Anime Deep State.
Something else I appreciated about the production is the way they did some of the voice casting, where, with it being a bit of a universe reset, there's always the chance though that like, they might just bring back people for the sake of bringing them back. But I think the way they did that for certain elements were really cool, where Kenta Miyake like gets to voice the Avdol that shows up for 10 minutes of the episode. But they also use him because his voice is like so booming and amazing. So him being Steven Steele is like such a burst of energy for, getting the race started. I think that's amazing. And then I don't know why I never thought about it until I heard him start talking, but I'm like, I just like expected Diego Brando to have the same voice actor. And then like hearing like this like younger voice, I was like, oh, no, yeah, totally makes sense to like, this is the time you can recast and like get some younger talent in there.
No, I had the same thought. I'm like, it's not Koyasu, but of course it's not. It's not the same character at all. Why would it be?
Exactly. And it's like, as amazing as he is, and everyone would love him to reprise the role in a sense, I like the direction they went with.
Yeah, especially because, again, it drives home that even if he wants to call himself Dio Brando, this is not the same Dio Brando. You do not need to know about Dio Brando.
Yeah. Exactly.
I think we've talked quite healthily about the good, bad, and the ugly from Steel Ball Run and its production schedule so far. So we could probably
I
shift
have
to
one more
something
question,
else.
actually.
Sure.
Brandon, since you're kind of the expert on the matter. So we have Dio Brando and now Diego Brando. When does Hellshake Brando show up?
Oh shit!
Hey.
You're gonna have to wait for part 10. Sorry,
Okay.
me and Araki are still in talks.
All right, cool. Carry on then.
Yes.
Alrighty, so I mean, this season in particular had a lot of good shows and a couple. I don't want to call all of them dark horses, but I think one that definitely caught a bunch of people by surprise. That was really very good, and almost entirely different from the other shows that were popular this season. Would be Journal with Witch, which I think just ended.
Yesterday.
I don't know, yesterday, right? I say it was either today or yesterday because I watched it today, but that doesn't mean shit. But yeah, I think a bunch of us are watching it on here too. So I want to hear from Mark a little bit about this because I know you were I think I don't know if you were the first one of the group to watch it, but I remember when I stated that I was, you were like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one that wasn't on my radar. Probably not on a lot of people's radars going into the season. The first episode had already like we were a few days past the first episode when kind of like I heard about it and was like, oh, this looks interesting. It looked interesting because it looked different, and that's something that I always try to look for a little bit. So, is there anything that just doesn't look like something we get a whole lot of in anime? And yeah, it really from the get-go just kind of surprised me at how amazing the writing was, how real the characters were, and just like the real heart in the middle of it. And as the season just progressed, just how so many little subtle moments that were just kind of like I'm going to use the word brilliant. I mean, there was so much in this season that just felt brilliant to me. And I think we talked about it a little bit earlier in the season when we did our early season stuff. But it's I think one of the amazing things about it is just how all the characters feel like everything that's going on and in the way that they're reacting to everything just feels right. It doesn't feel overly dramatic. It doesn't feel fictional for lack of a better term. I can't remember who said it, but like there was the discussion earlier about Makio being an introvert, but she doesn't come off as the your typical anime introvert that's just like overly anxious about everything or just super shy and never wants to leave her house or anything. It's like, no, she just likes being at home and but she still goes out with friends and still has fun and things like that. And it was just like a lot of stuff like that really just kind of jumped out at me throughout the entire season. And just what is growing, kind of like this relationship between Makio and Asa throughout the entire thing is honestly, I can't tell you how many times like Asa would ask her a question and Makio would start to answer in her Makio way. And I'd be like, oh man, this is going to blow up into something like really big. This is, here's where the melodrama comes in. And then it's like, it didn't. It was like, no, we're just having like a real conversation here. And we're not going to overthink all of this. And it just, every time I thought that I couldn't be impressed by the series anymore, it shocked me. It surprised me with it. So
Yeah, I felt like I can relate to Maki on so many levels. I feel like you really don't see a character like that very often in anime, at
no,
least.
yeah, no, and she was so funny as well because she is a writer, and so she's obviously has a novelist, and so she obviously has a lot of understanding into the way people work, except that there are times you watch her and she's like, are we sure she has an understanding into the way people work? Because she would, Asa would ask her a question and she'd give some kind of profound answer and then be kind of confused by herself, like, wait, where did that come from? Like,
Yeah, she was spitting a lot of the time, but then she couldn't handle some basic tasks.
right, yeah. But then you'd get these the one moment in the entire season it's the first thing that comes to my mind every time I think about it, think about the series in general, is just it was about mid-season, when Asa brings Emery back to the apartment. It's not the first time Emery comes over, but it's one of the first times she comes over, and Asa leaves for a little bit to basically just go buy some snacks, and
Mhm.
Emery is kind of questioning Makio, like, why are you not married? Why? And at first, it's like, um, it almost feels like kind of like a little question and answer as to, like, why are you so different? Because all of her interactions with Makio up to this point had been kind of off-putting, just like Makio's interactions with virtually everybody. But it quickly kind of becomes apparent that she's trying to shape the conversation around, are you a lesbian, right? And it's not from a judgmental standpoint, but it's more from a, she thinks she might be, and she's trying to kind of sound Makio out without really just coming right out and saying it. And before the conversation can kind of go anywhere, Asa comes back and Emery kind of stops. The conversation sort of dies, and so we're sort of like left for a second, like, oh man, like we were just getting somewhere here. There was something really interesting going on. And then just like a few minutes later, Makio's getting ready to excuse herself, and she hands Emery a copy of Fried Green Tomatoes, which is a movie with huge LGBTQ themes in it. And it's just like, here, watch this. I think the way she puts it is, I think you'll find refuge in this, or something like that. And it's just this really powerful connection that's at the same time, moment of connection that's at the same time really subtly done, and not entirely apparent at the time that it happens. And like that as I said, like, that's like the moment whenever the series comes to mind, I immediately go there, as like, that's what the series just kind of kept doing to me every single episode. And it was incredible.
Yeah, I think that fried green tomatoes bit is like especially telling of Makio's character. It's almost like she can, kind of pontificate a lot and like spit all this wisdom that she kind of just has like bouncing around in her own mind, but sometimes giving direct what's it called, advice isn't really her strong suit. So in a way, it's like, I can't tell you what I think you need to hear. So here is something you should watch that will tell you what you need to hear.
Right. Yeah. Almost makes you wonder if the conversation didn't get interrupted, and it was allowed to go to its natural conclusion, if Emery is able to come out with the full thing, how would Makio have responded to that?
Yeah.
And this might be, as you said, this might be more perfect.
Yeah. Her general kind of outlook, she has a lot of wisdom and a lot of insight into the human condition, but from sort of an abstract concept, which makes sense given her introversion and her specialty in writing successful novels. So yeah, she's always saying these very meaningful things like, nobody gets to decide how you feel except you. Everything that you feel is valid. No one gets to prescribe what romance is, all that kind of stuff. But then, yeah, in normal day-to-day tasks, she's kind of lost because, yeah, she has to kind of see it from this, detached perspective where she can feel comfortable. Whereas if she's actively involved, then she feels kind of out of her element.
Mm-hmm. And then whenever she is kind of questioned about her wisdom or questioned about her actions, she doesn't know how to handle that either. Like again, one of those moments where I was like, oh no, this is where everything falls apart, was in that very last episode when, she's saying like, I don't really do things. You can't do things to please other people. People, you can't change people. And Asa's like, well, but what about you taking me in a year ago? And she's like, did I do that for you? Like, and it was like, well, who would you have done it for? but she's just like, no, I was just pissed off at everybody else for treating you like shit. So
yeah,
it's like, don't tell her that. But even with that, I mean, you can still see like, just like in the little things, just how strong their relationship has become. With little things like Asa creating her own little space in the closet, just like this little cubby hole, and Makio just being like, wow, that's really cool. As opposed to, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, just great stuff.
I think another aspect I really liked about the show is it has a really unique portrayal of relationships in general in like multiple ways, like not only like friendships, romantic relationships, stuff like that, both like straight and not straight relationships. And I think one of the ones that I thought was the most interesting was Makio and Kasamichi's relationship, in the fact that, you know, they were together at one point, it didn't work out, they kind of had a mutual breakup of sorts, and the way that they kind of rebuild their friendship, get into contact again, and then slowly like start to drift toward each other again, to the point where it's, I don't really think it's explicitly said at any point, but it's almost like they're dating again. I feel like that is that like gray area is very interesting in the way they portray it, and I feel like it's nice that a lot of the show's portrayals of relationships isn't so black and white in that aspect, and I think their relationship is one of the ones that does that the best.
Yeah, and I think it's so true to Makio's character. Like, it wouldn't feel right if she was just like, yeah, let's start dating again. She's very non-committal in those sort of things. So having that kind of nebulous in between makes sense for her as a character.
Yeah, and I'm really glad they didn't go down the path of like a love triangle that I thought could have been forming with her, Kazamichi, and then the young like attorney
Lawyer
guy or
goon.
whatever.
Yeah.
I like his role in this whole thing as just like very much just like the support.
Yeah.
And also like kind of learning how to be a person in his own right, because like very socially awkward guy. So
Well,
yeah,
he says at one point, he's like, I don't read, or I don't really do much of anything at all.
Yeah. I think his and Kasamichi's like final conversation with each other was very illuminating in that aspect, where he's like, oh yeah, I thought you were this way, but I guess I was kind of wrong about you.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It sort of felt like that he certainly had interest in Makio and didn't, he's so awkward that he didn't really know how to approach it. And it almost felt like that, even though every sign was there that Kasamimachi is really uh is really who she's looking at, that there is in that lunch that he has with Kasamachi, there seems to be like that moment when he's like, oh, that's how you are. It's almost like a, oh, I've been stepping on your toes. Like, ooh, that's, whoops.
Yeah, I think a few things that it does really well is just portraying all the different subtle ways that social awkwardness can manifest, because almost every major character has some level of social awkwardness that is completely different from any other character, and the way that they interact is very realistic and organic, and usually it's kind of like a gag. There's a socially awkward character, and it is portrayed in one very specific, very exaggerated way. So the fact that there are so many different flavors of that we see, and that nobody's really got it all figured out, makes a lot of sense. And then also with that lawyer guy, in addition to that aspect where he comes across as kind of like a successful young clean cut guy, and then you find out that he's also kind of a mess in some way, is the fact that he could have easily been set up as like an antagonistic character, but he's just entirely supportive the entire time, and nobody is doing anything malicious to anyone else. They are all working towards the same positive goal, and the conflicts in life are realistic. They're not manufactured. They're not intentional by any individual. They're just things that you go through in tragedy and grief and adolescence and growing up and familial relationships. And it's just, all very organic.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm very interested. It was sort of I don't know. Was it surprising to me? I don't know. It feels a little surprising to me that we got to the end of this, and it's very traditional, for lack of a better term, Eastern storytelling. In that this sort of ends, and we don't really get kind of like a resolution to the main concern with it, do we?
Right.
Which again is very natural, right? Like, her parents have been killed in this car wreck, and she's learning to deal with that, but also dealing with some very obviously complex emotions, because her parents are dead, but it's also very clear that she didn't necessarily have the most amazing relationship with them, just like Makio certainly didn't have any kind of good relationship with her sister. And Asa has this journal that her mother was writing, but she doesn't really know how to take it, because she's writing all of this stuff, but I can never talk with her about it to know exactly how she really felt and stuff like that. And but we sort of get to the end of this, and we never really get a sense that, other than I'm learning how to move on from it, we never really get a sense of, how does she truly resolve this? Has she resolved this? Her feelings by the end of this, or is she still sorting all of that out? Is she still dealing with it? I found that very interesting as well. We get the little birthday celebration, because we get up to the 1 year anniversary, and Makio's like, do you want to do something? And Asa's like, what if we celebrate their birthday instead? So they do that, but even that's just like a quick 5-second, oh, here's a cake, we're going to sing happy birthday, and we move on. Now it's 10 years in the future.
Yeah.
Or really we're back in the present, because the whole thing is Asa telling us the story of 10 years in the past. Anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say I found that flash forward very interesting, because I think, I mentioned probably every other show that I'm watching, other than the ones that actually like ended, got a next season announced, except this one. But from what I can tell, there's still manga material left. The manga is done, but The anime did not
Oh.
cover it all.
Okay, because the manga is only like 50 some odd chapters, I think. So I guessed that this was that we'd seen it all. I had interesting.
From what I've seen, there are like 20 chapters left. So yeah, the fact that they did flash forward at the end implies that they're not getting another season, but I certainly hope that the positive word of mouth makes it successful enough that they do get one maybe a few years down the line and can conclude it. But it is an interesting perspective that, like, yeah, the imperfection is kind of what makes this series so authentic, and maybe having a tighter, cleaner, more wrapped up conclusion would kind of undermine that. But yeah, I don't know. From everything we've seen so far, I have faith that a second season could be just as good.
Agreed.
Yeah, I have no idea if we're getting one.
Yeah. I think even though if it did end there and they don't get another season, I think at the very least, if there's not like a full resolution of like Asa figuring out her path, she at least found the courage to start taking the steps forward, you know, and like start singing, start being who she wants to be. So I think that in itself is like a satisfying enough conclusion.
Yeah, like what we were talking about before with Chainsaw Man, which again, I don't know the context of the Chainsaw Man ending at all, but you know, the idea that everything needs to be neatly wrapped up, versus kind of, you know, the more authentic proposal of life goes on, you can see progress starting to be made, and so you can infer between that and the flash forward that, you know, she figured stuff out as much as can be expected of someone in her age and position, and you know, life went on. It was fine. So
she's going to be okay.
Yeah, things are going to be okay. She's heading in the right direction. We're all going in the right direction. So you could make the argument that either one is the better solution to, or conclusion to the story. Is yes, we actually follow through on all of these plot threads that we've set up, or we just get a taste of the progression, the development that these people are making through their lives, and can imagine that there's going to be more of it, and we don't need to see it all.
Yeah. Well, the fact that there is more manga actually, one of the things another one of the things that I found really interesting is that as the season goes along, and Emery becomes you know, seemingly more comfortable with her sexuality, it seems like her and Asa are drifting apart a little bit, as people often do when they grow up. And then we get to this last episode, and she's there front and center for Asa's performance, and then she's the one Asa's with 10 years in the future. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because everything over the last few episodes has kind of hinted at you guys are going in different directions now. And not that there's been a fight or anything. It's just, hey, we're growing up and I'm going left and you're going right. And
exactly.
it be what it be. So
yeah, no, I had the exact same thoughts. I was like, okay, interesting. Yeah, they're still best friends in 10 years. Even though, yeah, a lot of it, especially since they start high school, has been like, oh, you've got all your new friends now, and now maybe you're going out on dates on the weekend and not telling anyone and ignoring my texts. And yeah, so it definitely would be interesting to see like what bridges that gap, like what gets them back to being close, if anything, or, you know, maybe they reconnect 5 years down the line. Who knows?
Yeah. It's honestly, it's a great case for, you know, Crunchyroll started back up their manga service again, you know, what, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever it was. And I keep thinking, I'm like, what they really should do, and I know this is a lot harder than I'm about to make it sound, but I would love it if their service would focus on the series that they stream, the anime that they stream, that doesn't have that where the manga is not being brought over here. You know, so that, hey, I've just watched Journal with Witch, and now I could get on their manga service and be like, and now I'm going to read the manga of it. That would be really cool.
Didn't somebody just license it? Or am I hallucinating?
I think you might be right. That sounds familiar.
I think Yen might have grabbed it.
Okay. Yeah, they.
Seven Seas? Who was it?
Maybe. I don't see anything about it now. Manga. But yeah, they could just have the episode 13 watch next button just take you to chapter 35 or whatever.
There we go. Yeah.
No, don't do that. Read the whole manga.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But no,
it does drive me nuts whenever I see like somebody post online. Yeah, I just finished, season 1 of the anime. Where should I pick up the manga? It's like the beginning.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Yeah. And this is another one where I've been loving seeing how much praise it's been getting from the people who are watching it. But it's definitely still like, the kind of underground critical darling of the series. It hasn't broken out into like mainstream popularity. So like this is never getting a Blu-ray. Manga might never get licensed. It probably won't get a second season ever. So that's all
back in
very
the day. It
sad.
would have gotten Blu-ray.
Of course, yeah, because that's the thing.
We got Blu-rays of that fucking dictionary anime. So,
dude, that dictionary anime is low key one of my like favorite dark horse. Like, no one's heard of it. Anime of like the year it came out.
Yeah, I watched it when it was airing and liked it. It's just I remember that one getting a Blu-ray. I'm like, if the dictionary anime can get a Blu-ray.
Okay, here's the thing. This is what I was talking about before. This is the problem with Crunchyroll getting the rights to all of these things. The dictionary anime, Amazon streamed it. No one picked up home video. So then Discotek got to pick it up a few years later. And anything Discotek can get that is niche and obscure and beloved, they will absolutely be putting out on Blu-ray. Whereas Crunchyroll will get all the rights to everything so that they can have streaming, and then they'll just throw away all the home video rights unless it's going to sell gangbusters like Demon Slayer. So that's the problem with that. Because, yes, Discotek would release it if home video rights were available, I'm sure. And, before the Crunchyroll acquisition and rebrand, Funimation did generally release everything that they licensed. A lot of them were just kind of your standard bare bones Blu-rays. But it's really been in the past few years since Sony consolidated them into one company and rebranded everything that they've just been releasing less and less of the not marquee shows on physical media. And this is definitely one that would not make the cut.
Yeah.
But it should.
Of course it should, yeah. It should get a fucking beautiful, like, journal aesthetic limited edition collection. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We can dream. Maybe one day. It'll like it like 10 years. Someone will pick it up and it will get the wonderful Blu-ray that it should be certainly granted. And then it comes with a copy of how the anime had to put fried green tomatoes because they don't have the trademark. So it just had to be a green tomato with the Phantom letters behind it.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember pausing it and being like, I think that's fried green tomatoes, but I'm not super sure.
I did the same thing. I rewound it and I was like, is that what I saw? Yes.
Yeah.
All right, hear me out. Criterion gets the right and puts out a double release of fried green tomatoes and Journal Village.
Yo, Criterion got into the anime game, things would go crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe A24 will do it.
Sure.
Anything at this point. Fuck it. We're going to make left stuff.
Absolutely. All right. Left stuff.
Oh. All right. On that note,
I suppose we should talk about at least one more show, right? Just so.
Are there any other shows that were worth talking about this season?
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
We
I
can
don't-
call it.
There's one with like some dumb elf bitch or whatever, and then there's one about some soulless kid who just fights a bunch of other weird people in a city. That's pretty cool.
I will say that I mean, Journal with Witch was really kind of a standout, and I don't know that I necessarily had anything else that was just really amazing in that way. But I will say that the winter 2026 season was one of my favorite seasons in a long time overall.
Agreed.
Like almost everything that I watched, I really, really liked.
Yeah.
Even some stuff that I went into that I was just kind of like, this could be pretty good. Ended up being a lot better than I expected it to be. So I think all around it was a really good season.
Agreed.
Yeah, really strong. Which I don't know if I could say about next season, but we'll see. I haven't really
Hey.
looked too hard into it, but
We get Witch Hat at Atelier next season,
true.
so-
That will be fire.
That will be very good. I'm looking forward to that very much. But yeah, we could pick another show or two from this season. But I did want to talk about Jujutsu Kaisen a little bit because I wanted to get you guys' opinion on the fact that this, and maybe I just have poor taste, but
Uh-oh.
Yuji, this is my favorite version of Yuji out of every one that we've gotten. The guy who's just like, I don't have a passion for anything.
The one that's like broken.
Yeah, the broken one. I'm like, this guy's cool.
Yeah.
He's like Thorfinn at the beginning of season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Nothing
because-
good has ever happened in my entire life.
I think it's because he stands out from like other shonen protagonists in that way, that they all have like their passion and their friends, and he's just like, I don't really know anymore, but what else can I do but just punch stuff a lot.
Yeah, I am a cog in the machine, bro.
He's been through some shit.
The fact that he says that I'm just a cog in the machine was that exact point where I was like, this guy's cool to me now. This guy- And then when he admits that he killed all those people even when he was Sukuna, and then it fucked up the lawyer guy's plan in a way.
Yeah. Oh, I love that part so much.
Yeah, that was really great.
Yeah, that was a legitimately good part. The other one about being a cog in the machine, I was like, I could see how some people wouldn't like this. I thought it was cool, if only because it, in that distinct moment, it goes against everything like a shonen and like protagonist is supposed to be. Like
Yeah.
he's supposed to still be like optimistic and trying to right the wrongs that he had done, and that's his passion, and he hides his guilt or whatever behind his smile. But instead he's just like, no, I don't really feel anything anymore, dog.
Especially since he did start as the, smiley, optimistic shonen protagonist, and just the circumstances of his story have just beaten him down so much that he can't maintain that anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely helped too. Where it felt, it's weird to say realistic in a show like this, but it felt more realistic than a lot of others, that they still like smile and maintain their cheery outlook even though the world crushes them constantly. And Yuji's just like, nah, man, I gotta get a W, but I don't know. Like, So
I guess since there's another
surprisingly
season of this airing and I'm watching it, he feels like Mark from Invincible to me right now. We're just like, I'm trying my best, but Jesus Christ, everything just fucking sucks so much. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple things I really liked about this season in general. Like, I love the way that they animate the fights in this season, and just all the time. But it felt like there were a lot of really good like highlight action in this season, like Yuji fighting the lawyer guy, who I think is also one of the best side characters so far. Period, because his reason for becoming the way he is felt so
Earned.
coldly realistic. Yeah, like coldly realistic. Like, I tried to be a shonen protagonist, and the real world
Your
beat me
amazing.
down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. He's like the real world's Yuji.
Yeah, he's like, I became a lawyer to be a public defendant so I could help people who couldn't otherwise afford it. But yet every W I get is ripped away from me from this stupid retrial system we have.
Yeah. Honestly, I know a lot of people, talk about the Culling Game arc being weak, and of course that's because it's following like the craziest arc in one of the craziest arcs in all of shonen anime. But I think this arc introduces so many of this series' best and most interesting characters, because you've got Higuruma, the lawyer guy, like A tier dude. Hakari is like also a great character, and we're gonna get more of him as well. And then what's his name? The comedian character is
my
also
God.
like one of the most batshit insane characters in the entire series. And I will tell you now, he will be part of probably the best episode of the next season. But just so many strong characters, and then of course you get more Okotsu, like full on, like protagonist mode stuff. So like, there's just like so many strong characters, and of course like Maki has her like one and done like 10 out of 10 episode. There's just like, I don't know, this just like for me, this episode was firing on all cylinders the entire time. So I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I can agree with that. Like the main problem with the Culling Game arc, for the most part, is understanding how the game works. But you really don't have to
Yeah.
do that anyway. Like to enjoy it.
No.
It's really just Yuji and other people trying to rescue some folks and destroy others, and you're just like, all right, cool. I know
Yeah,
what's going on. Like it helps to understand it if you can, but man, you even go on the Jujutsu Kaisen subreddit, and they're like, don't even try. Like,
No,
it's
like,
fine.
don't worry about it.
we're
Do
just
not
vibing.
worry about it.
It literally doesn't matter. They keep adding rules, and then
Right.
eventually the rules won't even matter. Just don't care about it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, don't care about it. Just enjoy the visual spectacle that you're getting.
Yeah, I think the structure of the Culling Game is really just the perfect allegory for Jujutsu Kaisen as a whole. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna make up these rules about how the world works, but we're gonna change them all the time. So don't even worry about it. You're not gonna understand it. It's not gonna matter. It's just gonna look cool.
I think it reaches like a boiling point, especially during the very last fight between Okotsu and the other two, where there's like some insane cinema going on, and the narrator's just like, oh, so this is what happens when all 3 domain expansions go off at the same time, but then the roach guy appears, and then this happens, and then this happens, and you're like, yeah, I really don't need to understand the mechanics. I'm just gonna watch big crazy boom.
Yeah, no, that episode was definitely another 10 out of 10 incredible episode. Yeah, I think overall, I don't know, I know that we're just vibing, but the general bullshit of Jujutsu Kaisen has me a little less invested in the story as the seasons go on, but there's like, a perpendicular line of its kind of auteurish filmic cinematic presentation that has just been firing off the longer it goes on. And you have the Maki episode and then the latest episode that are just like these incredibly creative 24-minute short films by respective directors, and I'm just so happy to have that.
You think they sat in the planning room and they're like, okay, guys, listen. So we cannot allow the audience to think about this for like a second.
Yeah.
Needs to be as distracting as possible.
If their TikTok anal brains have to read one too many paragraphs, it's over.
Yeah,
that's so true.
We need to turn the action and spectacle up, and then do whatever we can to make people not think about it, because you can't think about it.
Yeah,
I can see you thinking about it, and you can't.
The less the plot makes sense, the more flashy and distracting the action is.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I've been trying to rack my brain to see if there's another battle action shonen out there that does it as well as Jujutsu Kaisen, because I'm not like the most well versed in battle shonen stuff. But man, my favorite part of all the battles, and I think something that they're basically unparalleled in, is how they utilize the environment both vertically and horizontally, so that they aren't just flying around, or they aren't just standing in like one level floor, just beating the tar out of each other. Like Yuji is like doing parkour, jumping up and down like through staircase railings or along seats, or he's purposefully jumping out windows to crash into another one like two floors below. Like really, really going out of their way to like utilize the environment that they've set. And in a way, it makes it so that you don't forget where they are, which is cool at the same time, because it's just like some shows can get so either over the top with the battles and the characters get so powerful that they have to do a DBZ and just go out to the desert somewhere.
They're literally like, let's go out to the desert for this fight. They're like, okay.
Yeah. Or it gets so small that it's just two people fighting on a flat surface and you can forget like, oh, they're in a train station, or oh, they're, in an office building, because they've basically erased everything but like the 10 square feet the fight is happening in. But Jujutsu Kaisen like really makes sure that you remember where they are, and it takes advantage of that. Of everyone's Jackie Chan. They're just using everything. Like they're just using everything.
100%. I think the Fushiguro arc especially like exemplifies that, him fighting in like that apartment building against the multiple sorcerers, and then at the end of that fight when he brings the receipt guy to like the gymnasium pool and literally uses the pool in his domain expansion. It's taking everything in the environment into account, which is really cool.
Yeah, Reggie was that guy's name, which I thought was funny.
Reggie,
For like no reason other than his name was Reggie. I'm like, just a random bad guy name. That's Reggie.
His power too is so crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't really read any of the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, and the more I watch it, the more I'm like, man, I can't imagine this being nearly as effective in any form but this. But also, how did this even work at all in manga form?
Yeah, I think part of it, which is I think why the anime adaptation is so good, is that a lot of the explanation gets left on the cutting room floor, where sometimes you get some like Togashi level paragraphs of like, this is how this power is happening right now, and this is how he's countering it. Definitely a lot less of that communication of the environment use. It's still there for sure, but not to the extent that it is being portrayed in fluid animation.
Yeah. Yeah, I need a crossover between like Jujutsu Kaisen, Hunter x Hunter, and JoJo, where it's just all of their respective narrators explaining all of their powers for the entire thing.
That'd be great. And Baki, throw that in there just for
sure.
Shits and giggles.
Yeah, I can't say I have much to pontificate about with the narrative of this season, but I think it is one of the rare ones where you don't have to, and nor should you even try. So
yeah.
So
it's
Kane,
weird,
just
I want to
just to make sure I'm. Go ahead. Sorry.
I want to talk about how much I like it, but there's really not that much to talk about other than just vibing with how cool the action is. And normally I'm against that, but in this case I was like, man, it's too cool. My boy, the cog in the machine is just doing his thing. And there's also the occasional movie reference or whatever, or meme, like when the one guy did that. I think that was like episode 1 where he did like the hair smooth back as he was fighting Choso or whatever, and that became an internet meme.
Yeah, that was great.
So, Kane, just to confirm, just to quote you correctly, you are saying, just turn your brain off.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
Yep, you heard it here first.
The one thing I hate most when people say is I'm now actively saying it. No, I'm doing it. Actually, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm doing it to protect you. I'm not doing it to draw you out of the show because of how unrealistic it is. It's you can't think about it or your brain will leak out of your ears. Yeah, I just wanted to chat about it for a little bit because, like Brain, you had said before, I know people had talked about the culling game not being as good, but I think in some ways I'm enjoying it more. But I think it's maybe because you're seeing like all these like fights happen in such quick succession and some really interesting characters being introduced and stuff that I don't know how long they are for this world, but like they are there, like Higuruma and stuff. I'm going to assume he's around at least for a little bit because they said in the anime or whatever that he's essentially a level 1 or whatever it is, so he's not like a chump character with a weird gimmick. He's legitimately strong and good, so
yeah. I love that I feel like they did that several times. Now that like Gojo is like locked away and irrelevant, they're like, oh, this character, like if they were under the right circumstances, they could be as powerful as Satoru Gojo. It's like, okay, we're getting a little crazy now. That guy's like god to this universe.
Yeah.
Well, the one guy they did it to, they're like, he could be as powerful as Gojo. He just doesn't know how his power works at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the best. Talk about it's true. I mean, it's literally like Toon Force. It's like literally cartoon guy powers. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
But no,
that
I
will
think
be at least fun to watch, like play out is whatever they do with the weird cartoon funny man character.
Oh man, just you wait and see. But this season really was just like a great encapsulation of like everything it needed to be. It's just like there was no pacing issues, there was no animation issues or drama. I'm sure everyone at Mappa is still suffering and not making any money. Right. But at the very least it wasn't 24 weeks of no suffering and no money. It was just 12. So
just 12, just half that.
Just 12.
Yeah.
All work and no pay makes Mappa.
Yeah.
All right, so we've come to a weird part in the episode now where there's one large show that needs talked about, but I don't know if we have enough time to give it justice for realsies, unless you guys wanted to give it a shot.
I mean, we can't not talk about it at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, we did a little bit very early on in the episode, so probably the
preamble.
I don't want to say it was the last heavy hitter of the series because everyone has different opinions on that because there's like Fire Force and all that and whatever. But yeah, Frieren finally.
Sorry.
You're not enjoying Soul Eater Zero, Bran?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's over. That's good.
It'll be over in a few days anyway.
The best part is that it's ending.
That's how I feel about half the show. That's the thing, is like this season had so many amazing shows. And I'm like, oh, thank God there's more. And there's several others. I'm like, oh, thank God it's over. Thank God there's no more 3D Trigun. I really wanted to give it a chance. And this season was so boring for so long.
That's anyways, very lame.
Let's talk about Frieren some more.
Yes, we won't talk about Trigun Shoegaze or whatever it's called now.
Accurate?
That's good.
I mean, they did make a Fully Cooley Shoegaze a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which was also trash.
Which, we also will leave in the dust.
Yeah, I think it was once again another triumphant season for Frieren. I know there was some concern at the very beginning because of some of the directorial change and stuff, but a lot of the other folks are coming back. So not that was anything to be like super duper concerned about, but I know that there was a little bit of a how could it live up to that first season. And all in all, I think it absolutely did. Like, we got a little bit of everything as the season went on. We got plenty of little montages. We got some really good emotional moments, including, I think the more I think about it, the one I liked the most from the season was even though it was like a minute long, the Himmel first person perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that was super good and just something that I wasn't expecting to get because of how Himmel had been reflected upon so far is always from. It's not even Freeren's perspective. It's just like a flashback. So not only do you get a flashback that isn't from Freeren talking about it, but it's also from an entirely different camera angle and a different person, which I think was really, really interesting.
Yeah. And it was powerful the way that part ended too, with her just turning the page and it being empty, and then her turning a couple more and them still being empty.
Yeah.
That was great.
What was it? She couldn't hide. What was it? Her wistful look, I think, is what they said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's so very good. Like the Ganao little arc thing was some incredible action animation on top of that when they're fighting the four-armed demon, and Ganao sprouts those cool ass wings and does all sorts of fun bullshit. And then you really, I think this season, definitely more than the last one, you get to see how Stark has basically turned into a demigod in his own right.
Yeah, he's actually insane.
Yeah, he's so strong, and he's basically Clown Baby from Always Sunny, that he just takes an insane beating, and he doesn't even know how he's fine.
Yeah. I love that they actually question that. They're like, "How are you okay?" He's like, "I don't know."
Right.
He's like, "That dragon bit through your head." He's like, "Did it?"
Yeah, I like how Frieren has only had impossibly strong warriors in her party, so she's like, "No, I think that's normal. It happened to Aizen too."
Yeah.
Yeah, her frame of reference is totally fucked.
Yeah, her frame of reference is like the party of heroes.
Exactly.
Like, okay.
Yeah, because granted, they don't have a healer or anything at this point, with Stein not showing back around. They still have an incredibly strong warrior, and then a mage who is Tim Duncan, and can just has the fundamentals down so hard that she got to like the level 1 sorcerer, probably knowing like 3 spells.
Yeah. I love that Fern has like realized, she's like, "Oh wait, I can just like snipe people from across the fucking planet."
Yeah, that was really cool too.
Good.
Where she's like, "Where'd she go? Oh, she flew practically to the moon and then sniped you from outer space. She hit you from low orbit."
Yeah.
Fern is an attack satellite. She's the Hammer of Dawn from Gears of War. You just call her in and obliterate an entire building.
That's good.
Yeah, the fact that they bring up how insane it is that they do not have a healer in their party, and just the fact that all of them are so absurdly overpowered that they manage to survive all of these situations that no party without a healer should ever survive.
Yeah. It's weird too, because I feel like the stakes of every fight feel so high, where it's like, oh shit, they're going up against a whole nest of dragons, or like this 4-armed serpent demon who's like definitely like one of the strongest swordsmen in the north. And there's just no point where I'm ever really like, oh wait, are they gonna die? No, they're good. They're good.
I mean, that Revolte fight with Ganao and Stark, I was like, I don't know.
That one did
like,
get close.
That's true. Like, absolutely Stark should have died several times. And I was like, I don't know, I could see Ganao dying here, absolutely. But, yeah, they definitely... The fact that healing magic is a factor in this, like, yes, it's an RPG scenario, so you can get a giant hole through you and be fine in a few minutes, basically. Definitely helps the situation. But I do feel like they do a good job at making the stakes feel really high, even though you can be reasonably certain that certain characters will survive.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that this show is good at reminding you, even if explicitly, like, these demons that they're seeing are just, like, the beginning of being in this northern plateau. So it isn't like you're seeing end game boss type characters right off the bat. Freeren's like, no, they'll get way stronger than this.
Well, the final episode, when it's hinting towards the next season, they're like, this guy is basically the strongest demon in existence now that the Demon King is gone. But I'm curious to see how that plays out. But with what we were talking about earlier, I would be, as much as I loved that episode, the Revolte fight, the insane animation, choreography, and storyboarding all throughout it, I am happy for it to be anything but a typical shonen battle series, because the whole point is we started right after the big Demon King battle, the most climactic fight in the entire universe. We didn't get to see. That's not the point. So I don't need to have the next season be a big shonen power scaling bullshit about the strongest demon left alive. I want it to be something interesting that makes me think about demons in an interesting way as an allegory for something in the real world. So, yeah.
It almost makes me feel like, I don't think it will be this way, but on the level of like Dark Souls and the final boss of the first game being like, oh, he was like the top dog of his era, but it's like his era is over. So it's like, it's more kind of like sad in retrospect, seeing like where they are then versus their peak. I don't think it's going in that direction. I think this guy will be pretty strong, but maybe seeing like the dire state of demonkind in general maybe will lead to some different revelations.
Like another great example of a really good subversion of the shonen arc structure is the Chimera Ant arc of Hunter x Hunter, and how that ends with its impossibly powerful boss. Not at all how, you would traditionally do that sort of arc. So, I would love to be surprised in that kind of way again.
Yeah. Something else I loved about this season, which is just really funny to me, is that their whole tour through the North has basically been like a poverty run, where like the further in they go, the less they have, and anytime they do a job, it's for like a measly grimoire that does jack shit.
Like that's basically this all Freeren's fault.
It is. She's like, oh, this will help you like flip pancakes perfectly. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, even Fern wanted that one.
That's true. That at least benefited the entire party.
Right. Yeah, I love at the end there, where Fern is reveals that in fact she has been hiding their money from Freerin because she's so irresponsible, and Freerin is just so proud of her for it.
Yeah.
She's not
She like walks up with
she's
that like gaudy vase.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you're so smart. I'm so happy that you're my student. And then Fern is so proud that Freerin is so proud that Fern is treating her like a child.
The moment before with the whole like, I encourage you, Stark, because that's what Freerin would do to me. It's like, oh, she sees Freerin as her like Himmel, because everyone is always about like that's what Himmel would do, and that's what Himmel would do. And then immediately followed by, I hide half my money because Freerin can't be trusted.
Which, I mean, Himmel, of course, had his own childish characteristics and his vanity, even though it was tied into inspiring people. So, that's what I love about it is, Freerin has this incredible power and this incredible wisdom and so much care for her surrogate families, and wants to explore so much about herself and humanity. But she's also just a total like joke of a child of a 1,000-year-old great mage. So that's great. Her tantrums, we mentioned those a few episodes ago. It's like, yes, this is perhaps one of the most powerful and wise mages in the world, and she's extremely proud that she can have tantrums that go on for days and that no one can shut down. I really loved basically that's what Freerin would do. And also, we talked about the looking through Himmel's memoirs and then the blank pages and what could have been, and also since we're talking about the payments they receive, how Free Rent always gets some trivial, stupid grimoire, the backstory behind that and how Himmel was so selfless that he would paradoxically demand payment just to make sure that the other party didn't feel any guilt or obligation or debt towards him. So he would like play that extra level of, I need to make sure that you feel like you've earned the good deed that I've done for you, so that you don't have any thought going forward that you still owe anything, that you feel fulfilled and that this contract is complete. And it's more important to give that peace of mind after the fact than to be a hero who seems like they want nothing in return. So he'll take whatever trivial payment to make them feel that way.
That last part's kind of funny, though, because anytime they enter a major city, it's kind of like a dice roll. If the people there are like, oh, we love the hero and like we owe you so much, or if the people that run the town are like, you actually have a very huge back debt to pay.
Yeah.
So it could go either way anywhere they go.
Right. But yeah, he sees the people in need. He sees, what sort of guilt they have from not being able to provide payment, and he finds a way to make them feel deserving, which is just another level of his heroism that goes beyond what you would normally expect of like, yes, the most heroic selfless thing is to just do everything for everyone and accept no payment. But no, he wants to have them feel in their soul that they did everything they could to help him as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looking forward to the next season, which is October of next year, I believe is what the thing said.
Yep.
Man, isn't it so exciting when things you love have exact dates for when they come back?
Imagine.
Imagine.
Yeah, I'm particularly excited to see, like what Denkin gets up to, because that whole last scene is telling as well, where the other characters were talking about how he just wants to die, essentially. And you're like, oh, so his battle against the demon in there is going to be like, I don't want to say reckless, but very much like, I'll do whatever it takes because I don't particularly care about surviving. So it could get very desperate. Yeah. Because we know that Denkin's very cunning and is not, he doesn't play dirty. I don't think that was the right way to really like characterize how he went through the mage exam, but he's also like not afraid to get down and dirty. Like he will just fist fight you if he has to in order to achieve the goals. So he has no pride when it comes to what it takes to like achieve whatever he wants to achieve. So that'll be really interesting as well, because he clearly has an issue with that demon and everything in there because it's his homeland. So it isn't also like a assignment that he took that he doesn't have any type of emotional connection to either. So he has that his natural tendency to do whatever he needs to do to succeed, coupled with clearly a personal vendetta thing going on. So yeah, I think that'll be really interesting because he was one of my favorite side characters from that arc, just because of the mysteries about him, and he was so much older than everyone, and he had that wisdom about him while also not just being afraid to get in the mud if he needed to. Like being out of mana was not a problem for him.
Yeah, and the fact that he is specifically, trying to visit his wife's grave, and, it definitely seems like his aim in all of this is to finally reunite with her, go out in a heroic blaze of glory and, see her at her grave one more time and then join with her in the afterlife. And yeah, he's definitely, unlike Genau, who was like, oh, here's kind of a shithead instructor who I don't really care about, and then his relatively brief appearance in this season, It's like, wow, there's so much more depth to him, even that he tries to hide and doesn't believe in. Whereas Denkin was a much more significant character in that arc in the first season. And yeah, you got him introduced in sort of an antagonistic way with a lot of these cunning traits, but then right after that, you got him kind of being a grandfather figure to one of his teammates and talking about how he wants to visit his wife's grave, and that's why he's getting the first class mage certification so that he can go there, return home. And then in the second part of the exam, where he's the one being like, we should all be working together. You guys are not doing this the smart way. It doesn't matter if we're competitors right now. We're going to survive if we do it together. So yeah, he's a very interesting character, and I'm very much looking forward to him being one of the central focuses of this next season.
I did like how Ganao was trying to hide his own humanity, but like, if you really didn't care, you wouldn't be talking about that guy's shitty bread.
Right.
In the way that
Exactly.
you were. Like, you would have just picked him up, dumped him with the others, but you tried to make small talk with him, and then he was like, I'll never have that guy's bread again. Well, it's like, well, it sounds like you don't fucking care, man, because it's stale and bad, but clearly you do.
Yeah. I don't think anyone who doesn't care, defends dead bodies with their life.
Which was Stark's point that he brought up.
Yeah.
And then the final episode of that arc where you get the revelation that that's exactly how his friend died, and that he was the one who left, and so now he, like Denkin, I guess, kind of has this martyr complex of like, I'm not a good person, but I can do something good by sacrificing myself the way that my old friend did, and I can finally be the one in that position, which is why he was so hesitant to let Stark stay with him. So yeah, I think he also had every intention to die going into that until Stark joined him and kind of screwed it up.
Yeah, dog, you wish you were as empty and broken as Itadori.
Yeah, exactly.
Any more remarks about the finale for Freerun before we round up the carriages here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I think it's fair to say it wasn't as strong overall as the first season. But that said, I still put it at number 1 with an A+. So like, yeah, the worst season of Freerun is not a particularly harsh criticism.
I think it and this season of Jujutsu Kaisen are very similar in the fact that they are like a shorter,
yes, exactly.
Concentration of the bigger, more grand season prior to it, and also they are both kind of setup seasons for an even bigger conflict coming.
Yeah, and that was a lot of kind of what I put in my final review of it, was like, yes, it inherently cannot have as much variety as we had in season 1 because it was about a third of the episode count. The ending kind of has its pros and cons in that, yes, it's really great to know that we have something coming up in a year and a half, and exactly what it's going to be, and we're setting up towards that. But at the same time, the kind of open-endedness of the first season's ending felt more like in the vein of Freerun. It's like, yep, the story had already ended, and the story will continue to go on. Whereas this one is very much just, okay, we're going from episode 38 to 39, and you're going to have a year and a half to wait if you're watching it as it comes out. But this is very much not a season finale as much as it is a cliffhanger. So that was another factor. Just the fact that we went into the first season expecting it to be good, but not one of the greatest things ever. And because it was so good, we went into this season with absolutely top expectations that could never be lived up to. So the fact that it does at every moment feel like a proper, worthy successor, worthy continuation of that first season with all the expectations that it brought with it, even with different directors, even with less time to cook, it's still a remarkable accomplishment.
True that.
Indeed. Alrighty, I think it's about time we circle the wagons on the season and everything. There's hopefully some good stuff to talk about in the next one, but at the very least, worst case, we can always look back on this one nostalgically and just talk about it some more later. So there's always that. But all right, well then, why don't we check in? Does anyone have any recommendations or anything before we give out the socials and such?
You know what? Since you mentioned it, go watch The Great Passage, which is the best anime about making dictionaries you'll ever watch.
Nice. On the
Making
Might it be the only anime that we?
You know, we can leave that part out. I actually don't know where it could possibly be streaming if it is. So. Go buy that Blu-ray that Kane mentioned.
Yeah, that seems like that'd be one that's on High Dive or something.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was Discotech. It was originally on Amazon. I don't know if it still is. Yeah.
Anything from you, Kestrel, or anyone else for recommendations?
Sure, I got one.
Ooh.
If you were a Dragon's Dogma sicko back in the day,
Oh no.
Crimson Desert's pretty good if you want to waste away bazillion hours of your life. That's all I got. The game is divisive, but they've already made 1 million patches to it, which have made the game better than when it released a week ago. So yeah, big game is big.
Big everything game.
Big. All the systems. You can find cats and dogs wandering the streets, and then you can befriend them and adopt them, and then dress them in little outfits. And they will accompany you.
Sold.
Pick up loot.
I haven't heard enough people talk about that actually. So what are we doing here,
There's
people?
so much stuff in that game. Holy shit! I found out that I saw somebody was like, "Hey, if you pick up one of these banners, you can use it as a pole vault." I'm like, "What the hell is going on?"
Right. Yeah, so as we said, this is a great season. Watch Frieren, watch 47 minutes of Steel Ball Run on repeat. Just watch it once a week, pretending it's a new episode every time, until we get second stage. One that we didn't talk about because apparently I'm the only one left watching it now that DJ is no longer on our podcast, is Oshinoko. Had another really strong season and had its 4th and final season announced, and as I understand it, the ending is absolutely awful, so I'm curious to see how they managed to completely derail a series that's been really engaging so far. But I recommend it so far, of the first 3 seasons at least. So yeah, got that for recommendation. I don't know about many home video and manga recommendations because again, they're haven't been getting much lately. But I will recommend a film in theaters that I just watched called Project Hail Mary, which is very entertaining, very visually spectacular. If you can catch it in IMAX 70mm, I would recommend that. But yeah, it's a very good time all around.
I really did not expect much from that movie, but I am pleasantly surprised to hear the reception so far.
Yeah.
Anything from you, Bran?
Just a great passage, and then yeah, burn down Netflix headquarters. I recommend that.
The Fandom Post is not officially endorsed burning down Netflix headquarters.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast do not represent fandompost.com.
Yeah,
correct.
So I got to say it 2 hours in.
Yeah, right.
Mark, anything from you?
So, yeah. Well, Kestrel said didn't know anything about physical releases. Coming up in a few weeks, we got the most important manga release of the year, the final volume of My Dress Up Darling. It's shelves. So if you are very sad about the anime ending and want to know exactly where it goes, there you go. But actually, also the final volume of another manga called How Do We Relationship is also hitting in a couple of weeks, which kind of an underappreciated little story. I think I enjoyed that one a lot as well. So there's my recommendations.
Nice. And then I have one, which is Slay the Spire 2 came out. So if you like deck builder games, play that because it is highly addictive, just like the first one. So that's what if it hasn't been keeping up with the anime season, it's been playing that or Final Fantasy VI. So Slay the Spire 2 is new though. So
Final Fantasy VI. What more do you need besides maybe Chrono Trigger?
I was
That's
playing
true.
Slay the Spire 2 before we came on this podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, I see it right there in the little activity. It's right next to your name 3 hours ago.
Yep. Busted!
It's like, wait, why does it say 1 hour ago?
Yeah. That would not be the first time.
Oh, yeah. I too usually turn that off if I'm trying to be sneaky.
Trying to be
Great.
sneaky.
that makes me feel much better.
Oh, I was putting together a model. I've glue stuck to my hands.
Oh man.
I'm always doing something with my hands while doing this podcast, but it was gluing fake flowers together today.
Nice.
Netflix headquarters is 15 miles from my house.
Oh no!
Oh boy. You know, the least you can do is no kings it and like open the front gate really obstructively and then go home.
I don't know if I'm more mad at Netflix or Crunchyroll at this point.
Yeah,
Why not both?
Netflix is. I mean, we don't know what the situation is with that show, so
Right. Not necessarily Netflix's fault.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on there. Crunchyroll,
But I think it's always. And I was going to say, I mean, I think blaming Netflix is always a good place to start. It doesn't really matter if it's their fault.
I mean, there's plenty of things to blame all these people for.
I mean, ultimately, everything wrong with Crunchyroll is just following Netflix's playbook to begin with.
Right.
True. I mean, I think JoJo's is technically, at least in Japan, it's Warner Brothers Japan, so that's a whole nother fucking.
Oh God, yeah,
Sure
that's
a whole
a
nother
weird
can of worms.
situation.
So.
I don't know how that works anymore.
Sure is David Ellison's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
Oh no! All right.
All right, Castro, let them know where they can find us, especially if we gotta all get to Netflix headquarters.
So you can find the podcast anywhere you find podcasts. Please subscribe, rate, and review. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music, and the rest. We're on fandompost.com. We're on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky at Fandom Post Radio. Follow us. Get in contact with us. You can also email us, fandompostradio@gmail.com. And you can find me on Twitter at FullMetalKyoma, on Blue Sky at kestrelswift.bsky.social. You can find my review of each episode of this past season of Freerun on the Fandom Post, where I go into much greater detail on all of the things I've talked about and many more. If you see news of the Netflix headquarters burning down, it was not related to me at all. I can guarantee you that. Check Brandon's travel plans, maybe.
I
I think that's all I got.
You can find me at Hellshake Brando on all my socials, and I'm going to stay on a VPN until after my travel plans are over.
All right, Mark, how about you?
Yeah. You can find my reviews on Fandom Post. This past season, I checked in weekly with Wash It All Away and Timon's B-Side, but I also just this past week checked in with a bunch of other shows for season reviews. And we'll be continuing those traditions this upcoming season. Looking particularly forward to Ramparts on Ice, whatever it's called. Only because it's done by the same person as you and I are polar opposites. I know nothing else about it other than that. So figure it's got to be pretty good. Hopefully. But anyway, you can find me on Blue Sky at MD Thomas, and yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I don't exist.
Yes.
Sometimes it's for the best.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kate, how about you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Sonic Bug. Find all my reviews on thefandompost.com. No the before that, just fandompost.com.
Drop the. It's cleaner.
Yeah. I am going to be reviewing Witch Hat Atelier next season, and I think there's a season of Slime coming up, so I'm automatically on the docket for that. And I've got to finish up my other shows to write the reviews. We somehow cram that into soonish with Anime Boston coming up, and I don't have time.
Let's record an episode of Anime Boston, Kate.
Oh, we could.
I did one with Kane and DJ at Otakon one year.
That's funny. Forgot about that. I don't know. If you see me orchestral at Anime Boston, say hi. That would require you knowing us. Like. Yeah, it would require you knowing us beforehand. But if you're one of those people that knows who we are, say hi. If you're not one of those people that don't recognize us, don't say hi.
Just say hi to someone until you find them.
Yeah, exactly.
just say hi to every single person until you vaguely recognize the voice.
Yeah. There's not that many people at Anime Boston, right? It shouldn't take you too long.
I think the badges are different this year. They're using a different registration system, so mine's not going to say Sonic Bug like it usually does. So mysterious.
Alrighty, and as usual, you can just find me here, no other place. So exclusivity for all eternity.
You also don't exist.
Yeah, most of the time.
You can't find Kane on Crunchyroll store anymore. They delisted him.
There are no more copies of me rotting away in a warehouse.
No.
In Iowa.
In Iowa, yeah.
All of that adult Kane content.
Damn it.
Alrighty. Well, thanks everyone for listening as always. I hope you enjoyed this season as much as we have. I know there are a couple shows that still have an episode or two left. And then I guess we'll see what next has in store, at least other than Witch Hat, which I am very much looking forward to. But I'm sure there'll be some other decent ones. But, yep.
Yeah.
As always, thanks for listening, and enjoy whatever it is you're watching.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.